Hi, I'm Renee Taylor from the Hockey Roos, and I'm joined with Karri Somerville and Tatum Stewart, and we're going to be getting to know each other better. So Karri, tell us about your pathway from junior hockey as a WA girl to debuting for the Hockey Roos.
Well, I started hockey because my best friend played and she roped me in, and then I played for Wasps for a few years before moving to Vic Park. Always really just played because I liked playing and somehow managed to get here, which I'm pretty happy about. So thanks for picking me, whoever did.
And Karri, you're a keen lacrosse player, so tell me, how did that transition over to playing hockey?
Yeah, well, Mum will be so glad that you mentioned that. Yes, I've played lacrosse since I was very little, and yeah, it teaches you a lot about tactics, and Mum would always say about getting fit and running fast. So yeah, they helped me get where I am, I guess, a little bit. So Mum.
You're the nicest player I know, so I'm not quite sure how you played lacrosse. And Karri, who's your hockey hero? Who's someone that influenced your hockey journey?
Good question. I wouldn't necessarily have one hockey hero. I would say that I just sort of always played because I loved it and loved people around me, and I look up to sort of anyone that I'm playing with, see what I can learn off them and how I can make myself and them better at hockey.
And Karri, you're really into your house renos. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, currently renovating a house at the moment, which has a roof but no ceiling and concrete floors. But, you know, it's something to do outside of hockey, which is nice. And in the end, I get a house that is how I want it, which will probably have, you know, a yellow picket fence and some ugly choices that no one else likes, but I do. So, yeah.
We can't wait to see you on the block.
I'm going to ask Renee a few questions here. So, Renee, your parents met at Commercial Hockey Club. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how hockey is more than just a sport to you?
That's actually a hilarious story. So, being a Queenslander, my parents met at the toad races. So if you've never heard of it, you get a heap of toads in Queensland, so you collect them, you put them in a circle and you bet on the toad that's going to get outside the circle first. So that's how my parents met. At the hockey club, I'm a proud commercial girl and love getting back to Queensland as much as I can. So for me, it's not just about sport and hockey, I love it. It's also kind of family to me. So I grew up every weekend being out at hockey, never forced to play, but always you're there, so you may as well play.
Wonderful. That's really beautiful. Toads and romance. Who would have thought they would be the same
everyone
sentence?
can find their prince. They might just start as a toad. It's a frog, but
No, toad's fine. That's pretty fitting for Queensland. Right, and then your pathway with hockey wasn't necessarily, a standard one, let's say. Can you tell us a little bit about that and then how that led to where you are now as a hockey root?
yeah, I think it's really important to identify that everyone has different journeys in their pathway to becoming a hockey root. It's not just one set way, and I was probably one of those ones where it was a bit unorthodox and out of the ordinary. I didn't get picked for a Queensland team until I was 17, and I made my first under-18 national team, and I debuted for the Hockey Roos 18 months later and actually played for the Hockey Roos before I played at open level for Queensland. So it just goes to show at the end of the day there's no one particular path, and if something doesn't work out for you in those junior age groups, there's still opportunities to make it into the Hockey Roos.
Nice, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. And obviously the generic question of the day, who is your hockey hero?
Well, I've got a lot of people I've admired on the hockey field, but if I'm being honest, my hockey hero is someone actually from Commercial. So her name is Danette Smith. She played under 21s for Australia and unfortunately suffered an injury, so never went any further. But she was a really big role model for me to look up to, and I remember getting the opportunity to play with her for the first time and just looking at her and going, I don't understand how she gets through gaps that are about this big. And she was someone that really shaped my career, not only on the field but off the field, and I'm really lucky now that I can call her one of my best mates.
Oh, that's so cute. They say don't meet your heroes, but it sounds like it worked out for you.
She became a mate, so it worked out.
And then I've heard a few whispers about your plans for post-hockey career. I've heard golf, I've heard AFLW, I've heard Big Bash, and I've heard getting your own winery. So can you elaborate, please, what direction you think you're most likely to go in?
A new one's been added to the list. It's cheese making.
Oh.
So I'm open to being a AFLW player who's an avid golfer with a winery and a cheese making business. So if anyone has the ability to make that happen, I'm available. Please let me know.
All right, Tatum, you said that hockey has so many factors influencing your ability, and that in itself drives competition. What part of yourself are you currently in competition with?
Oh, that's a great question. I
You said
mean,
it.
yeah, well, apparently. Yeah, I suppose, like, to elaborate on that, like, what I mean is that you can't just be put in a box as a hockey player. You can't just be strong. You can't just be fast. You can't just be skillful. You kind of have to tick all the boxes, at least in some way. And obviously, at the next level, which I've only just sort of been exposed to in the last 12 months, you have to go even further with that. So I think at the moment, I'm really just enjoying being back with the group, and probably, I would say, maybe that tactical, technical stuff, getting back into hockey is probably where I'm pushing myself at the moment to see what I can add to my bucket. But yeah, always trying to get better at everything across the board.
What is the biggest lesson your junior club coach taught you?
I think like the value of hard work. Like, he never ever let me get away with anything. He never let me like take a shortcut or you know, sort of half-ass training or anything like that. Yeah, he coached me, my main junior coach coached me from when I was 11 all the way until I was 17 when I left Toowoomba, and his impact on my journey definitely was to make sure I do the little things right. There's no cutting corners, and you can always work hard, so I think that's definitely a big piece of the kind of player that I am, and yeah, I probably wouldn't be where I am without that sort of role model encouraging me to do that.
You can definitely see it still out on the pitch today. No corners cut.